change and transformation is something that is constant. It's the only thing that we know for sure will happen in this lifetime, is we will go through change and transformation because it's the nature of being human.
So today we're going to be talking about how to live a life of spiritual healing with Anne Berube. Hi, welcome Anne. She has walked away from her incredible career in order to live a life dedicated to spiritual healing. So Anne, can you tell me a little bit more about you and your journey?
When I was 23 years old, Casey, I had a car accident, and on the impact, when the other truck hit our car, it's as if the strength of the impact jarred me into a experience that was, I can only say now, spiritual and shamanic, but at the time felt very odd. I saw, so as my lungs collapsed and my liver lacerated, I was unconscious, and I saw in front of my mind's eyes my life, the one that I was supposed to live. It wasn't the one that I was living. Something about that life I was witnessing was very familiar, because I could tell that I knew somewhere inside myself that I was meant to do something else, that I was meant to listen to myself and not make choices based on fear or what other people want or the pressures from society. When I woke up the next day in the hospital and I realized that I had made it through, that they had been able to repair my liver and my lungs came back, they reinflated, I guess, I was left with the feeling of divine love and unconditional love that I had experienced in that vision. The feeling was more important than the vision, Casey, because it just stayed right here with me. That was over 15 years ago now. It took me time, I guess, to really bridge, I say, those two lives. The one that I knew I was living in here, and the one that I was living out there. Living my life solely from the intellectual level wasn't fulfilling, wasn't meaningful, and it was also creating a lot of physical pain. It took a while for me to really acknowledge that that was my path. I went into my education degree after the accident, and then became a teacher in grade 5 in Ontario, actually.
Oh, nice.
And yes. And then I knew again, I was like, nope, this is not for me. So I went back to university and to become a professor, and then I started teaching at the university level. And again, it was firing me out. Like, the universe has this way to fire you from the job because you're not meant to be there. So it requires trust, that really high level of trust in what the heart is saying. We have a purpose and a highest calling that we were born with. And so it's not by happenstance that certain things happen. There's always an intelligence in why traumatic events or really inspirational events happen. And so what I always recommend is to follow the breadcrumbs. So follow the breadcrumbs of your inspiration and also of your discomfort. So following the breadcrumbs of our inspiration means, so what are those moments where you feel so in awe and inspired and wonder? You're driving in your car and there's a song coming on and it's just so beautiful. You feel so inspired. You cry. You start to sing. In that moment, it's not that you say, oh, I'm going to become a singer. This is it for me, right? It's more of there's an essence in that moment. Whether it's because you're expressing yourself, whether it's because you're hearing words of love, whatever the essence in that moment that allowed your heart to crack open is your breadcrumb.
What if you've never ever been introduced to spirituality? You've never been religious, you're agnostic, or you don't know what to believe. How do you start to actually have faith in those breadcrumbs and come to what is known now as spirituality? And then can you tell me, what is spirituality?
Feedback says, I used to be an atheist until I remembered I was God. We are not human beings. We are spiritual beings, first and foremost, having this temporary human experience. when we can shift our identity from the human to the spirit, that's what spirituality is. That's what a spiritual path looks like, is trusting that I'm much, much more than my body and my mind. I tell people, if spirit is uncomfortable, if the word divinity, sacred, holiness doesn't resonate with you, then just use the word heart and love.
Heart and love.
It's the exact same thing. The best, more successful, authentic healers are the ones who've done the work for themselves. Mm-hmm. So instead of using a strategy or an approach that you've read in a book or learned over a weekend course, you're actually diving deep into your own wisdom because you went through it. You have to see yourself for who you really are, and that's looking at all the stuff and the baggage and the emotional blockages that we carry in our bodies. For me, that's how it started. I took a course about 11 years ago. I was dealing with sinus pain, Casey, and it had been going on for 2 years. So I was teaching at the university, and I had my first son, and it was just one of those things where, that last sinus infection did not go away, and 2 years straight of pain. So I'd wake up in the morning and I would be in pain, and I thought, wow, this is my life now. And then eventually I started to feel depressed and down. And then, I looked at all the alternative, so all the traditional medicine avenues, and I also look at all the alternative medicine avenues, and there really was nothing that they could do for me. Even my Reiki practitioner said, Anne, I think you have to just live with this.
Oh my gosh.
And I couldn't. I was like, no, there's no way this is my life. So one day my mother-in-law invited me to this course. It was called Women in Leadership.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is for me. I want to become a professor. I want to be head of a department one day. It really appealed to my intellect, women in leadership. But had I known what really was going to happen in the course, Casey, I would not have gone.
What?
Because it was a very different kind of leadership than I thought.
Huh.
So I walk in this group, and there's about 4 women in a circle in front of me. I'm in the middle of the circle. And she's talking about a leadership from within and connection to the breath, and how we can really be the leader within and allow that to shine without. Well, as she's talking, there's people around the room that are crying, and they're taking deep breaths, and they're sobbing, and I'm thinking, what is going on here? I did not sign up for this. This is not what I thought it was. And I could feel the pressure in my sinuses getting worse and worse and worse. I was waiting for her to excuse myself, go to the washroom, and just not come back. But she never took that break. And she looked at me, and she said, Anne, are you okay? And I said, I think so. And she said, I invite you to take that deep, deep breath and just feel the feelings you're feeling in your body and breathe deeply into it. And I did not want to. It was so uncomfortable to do that. My mind was like, no, if you do that, you don't know what's on the other side of that breath. But my heart was like, you have to do this. This is what you need. So I took that deep, deep breath, pushed through. It felt like barbed wire almost in my throat.
Gosh.
And as I'm breathing out, I saw and the tears, and I was the one, just like the other women, just weeping. And I had no idea what was going on. My body took over and was processing so much information. And then she told everyone, she said, this is what it looks like when someone's held, 30 years of emotional baggage in their body. It literally changed my life. My sinus pain was gone.
What?
And it never came back. Before that experience happened, I was aware of the concepts of we are made up of energy and we are one, and you can understand those concepts, but until you experience them, It's just a concept. If any of this that I'm saying resonates, right, with people, if you're like, I don't fully understand it, but like, I want more, it feels really, really good, then take that as a breadcrumb. That is absolutely a breadcrumb. If you hear me talking and you're like, I know nothing, then, it might be that it's a different path for you as a teacher or a coach. It might not be the energetic path. So trust yourself.
And you talk about that experience in your book, Be, Feel, Think, Do, right?
This is my first book, and it's coming out May 9th with Hay House. Mm-hmm. And it's a dream come true. It's my baby. I am so excited for it. And this progression of Be, Feel, Think, Do came to me out of my own healing, realizing that most of us live our life from a do, think, feel, be perspective, as opposed to be, feel, and then think and do, which is a more grounded, integrated body approach, heart approach, soul approach to living our lives. The book is half memoir, so it's really the story from a year before the car accident and this transition, how I merged those lives to even writing the book, and then my relationship with Wayne Dyer turned into this beautiful opportunity of a book. And then the next part is insights, and so it's really more teachings around what came up for me. It reads like a love story too.
Really?
Yes. It is. It's the back and forth, with my husband and the father, because he was a mirror for unconditional love when I met him at 22, and I had no reference point for unconditional love, right? Like a lot of people can relate to, I know this is good for me, but I don't know how to accept that kind of love. I don't even know how to recognize it. So the book goes through me messing up big time, and then getting back on the path, and messing up and getting back on the path.
I love that, because that is the reflection of life. For someone who is currently in their life, they may not be happy where they are, and they're looking to make a change. They have that feeling inside of them, and they want to do it. What's your advice for that person in general?
Yes. Trust yourself. So you'll have a lot of people around you who they won't get it, understand what you want, what you desire. And so you're asked to trust yourself more than ever. You're asked to stand alone sometimes in what you really believe to be true. And then as you do that, you'll start to see that the people that you're meant to have in your life will start to show up. So for me, that was a big one, because my immediate family didn't know what to do with me. They did not understand me. Even, I'm going to say this, like even when I started to produce events for Deepak Chopra, and it was really meaningful to me because I was following my breadcrumbs, following my bliss, and it went really well. I started a company, but my immediate family thought I was in a cult. And this is kind of tells you. And it took me a while for them to tell me. And so often we find ourselves in a smaller box than who we really are. So know that that's going to happen. You're not going to get the validation from the people that are close to you. The path to recognizing your own path is fabulous, and you are so inspirational. I want everyone to know where they can find your book. Do you offer coaching, consultation? How can they get a hold of you? Yes, absolutely. So my website is anneberube.com, and on there you'll find a lot of information. So I do private coaching. If you're in Nova Scotia, I see people school, one-on-one on Fridays, but I do Skype sessions the rest of the week. I also lead workshops. They're called the Happy Sessions, and I also have another workshop called the Celestial Session. My book comes out May 9th, and so pre-ordering it is really important. It helps with momentum from the distributors and the publishers, so you can order Indigo chapters anywhere. I wanted to just say one more thing to what you were saying, is that that maybe not everybody's here to be a teacher, but if you have life, you have purpose, right? And so everybody has a purpose. Everybody has something that they are here to learn and to own and to claim and to engage.
And thank you so much. I think today you showed us your story, how to live a life of spiritual healing. You talked about your adversities and how you overcame that. You've talked about how you see spirituality and how it's within you and not necessarily in, a dogma of any kind. You talked about your understanding of how to sort of live in both worlds, how to be a mother and a wife, and also how to be a spiritually aware person. You talked about your book that I cannot wait to read. I'm going to pre-order mine, Be, Feel, Think, Do, and the importance of that order and not the opposite order. And then you've given us incredible advice for how we can come into our own purpose. And so I think there's so much great information that you shared today. Thank you so much. You are amazing. I wish I was in Nova Scotia. I'd be in those celestial sessions.